The Life of Marc Dutroux by Garland Barber. Marc Dutroux was born November 6, 1956. He's a Belgian serial killer and child molester and who was convicted of having kidnapped, tortured, and sexually abused 6 girls between the years of 1995 and 1996. He was also convicted of having killed suspect and former accomplice Bernard Weinstein. He also was arrested in 1996 for 4 years after the disappearance of his victims had begun, and has been in prison ever since. Though he briefly escaped in April 1998, Dutroux's widely publicized trial took place in 2004. A number of shortcomings in Dutroux's investigation caused widespread discontent in Belgium with the country's criminal justice system, and ensuring scandal was one of the reasons for the reorganization of Belgium's law and enforcement agencies. Born November 6, 1956 in Brussels, Belgium, he was the eldest of 5 children. He also lived in the house with both of his parents, Victor and Janine. His mother was very dominant and father was very aggressive. Both of his parents were teachers, and it was said by Dutroux that they beat him a lot. He was only 15 when his parents separated, and that also was the day that Dutroux left the home. He had a strained relationship with his parents, so when they separated, there was really no reason for him to stay. As he got older, he began to try to find himself. Although this was a difficult thing, he found himself in numerous compromising situations. He was what people in the press would call a drifter. In other words, he was a homosexual prostitute. By the time he was 20 years old, he had met a girl and married her. They had 2 kids in their early 20s and was very happy in the beginning. She started to say that he beat her and was having affairs on the side of their marriage. They separated in the early 1980s. One of his mistresses, whom he had been dealing with for a great deal of time, ended up being his second wife. Marc Dutroux does not have much of a social nor educational background. For most of his childhood, he was a loner, and he didn't even interact well with his family or any of the other kids for that matter. Even though both of his parents were teachers, there are not many records of him doing any schooling. As for his social class, when he was growing up, he had a number of delinquent things that he had did to get money, such as prostitution, car theft, mugging, robbing, etc. He was an unemployed electrician and never really had a steady job or form of income, so he did what he needed to do in order to survive. As he got older, it got worse because he not only had to take care of him, but also his family. He started on this road of crime at a young age, and it only got worse as he got older. He took a turn for the worse when he went on to his most serious of crimes, which is crimes of murder. Dutroux was someone who liked to hurt and inflict mental and physical pain on people, especially children. He was known in Belgium as the Monster of Belgium. It was very easy to abduct and or kidnap children in Belgium because it was so common that kids went missing. This is what probably made it so easy for Dutroux to go through with all of his plans. It was also said that his wife was in conspiracy with the whole thing. Even though she claimed to be terrified of Dutroux, she knew everything that he was doing and did not turn him in nor talk about it. Julie Leanne and Melissa Russo were his first victims. They were kidnapped on June 24th of 1995. Dutroux abducted them and put them in a cellar in one of his homes, which he admitted to doing. He sexually abused both of them and made pornographic videos of them. Both girls were found buried in his backyard of one of his houses, dead due to starvation while Dutroux was incarcerated for car theft. A few months later, 17-year-old Anne Marchel and 19-year-old F.A. Lambrix were kidnapped on August 22, 1995 while on a camping trip in Ostend, Belgium. His drug-addicted accomplice, Michael Laviere, who was also paid in drugs, is who helped him kidnap these girls. The cellar was already in use, so he chained the girls to his bed in one of his houses and killed Anne Marchel and Effie Lambrix several weeks later after they were abducted. He confessed to the first murder. He took the police to another one of his houses and led them to where he had buried the girls alive after raping them and drugging them both. Sabine Dardenne was kidnapped and imprisoned in a dungeon on May 28, 1996, on her way from school. His accomplice, Michael Leverrier, helped him kidnap this girl. She was 12 at the time. On August 9th, 1996, both of them also kidnapped Letitia DeHaze, who was also 14, when she was walking home at night from a public swimming pool. Police investigation found a witness who could remember part of the license plate which Marc Dutroux's car. Police investigated the situation and found both the girls alive on August 15th. After all of Dutroux's criminal activity, he was evaluated and diagnosed with being a perverted psychopath. He was not considered an average pedophile because to him, children weren't exactly a connection to lust. They were just objects among others like targets. He found pleasure in just inflicting pain, and it wasn't so much for sexual preference. This man has committed many crimes such as kidnapping, abduction, rape, murder, conspiracy, car theft, drug dealing, as well as prostitution. The list goes on, but at the same time, the monster of Belgium has been captured and is incarcerated for a life sentencing in Belgium, and the citizens of Belgium will never have to worry about this monster striking again.